So thank you for coming tonight, making time to come to our open house for the City of Ripon Parks. I'm Adam Sotek, City Administrator. We have individuals here from Mid-States or MSA. They're an engineering and consulting firm that the city works with. A few months back, maybe beginning of the year or so, we did a process to identify consultants for master planning our city parks. So we've gone through that process over the last 6-9 months or so, and are now at this point in time after a public survey, stakeholder reviews, review by Parks and Rec Committee. So this is sort of one of the final chances for the public to see kind of schematic design ideas of what we're thinking based on all the feedback we have received. So we'll have a little presentation by MSA, and then we can sort of talk about specifics and you can provide feedback. So, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Hi, everyone. My name is Dan Schmidt. I'm a landscape architect with MSA, project manager for our side of the project. As Adam mentioned, this has been a several-month process going through numerous different checkpoints with the city and stakeholders to come up to these current concepts. Tonight's meeting, we'll go through a real quick overview of the public survey and then go through kind of a high-level view of the plans. And then the intent is to have us at the boards, let everyone come through and ask questions and provide comments on what's there and what the intent is to move forward. So a quick background on what is the master plan, just to kind of provide that background on what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what does it mean for development for the city. Master plans are framework plans. These aren't construction documents. It's meant to be a guide for the city as they look at capital budgets and improvements to the parks, potential improvements. It's not locking in any particular projects, and the elements may change or be slightly different when they're implemented versus what you see here, but it provides that overall goal for the city to work towards as it's looking at budgeting, grant opportunities, fundraising, partnerships, and other elements to work to improve the park system within the city of Ripon. A public survey was completed in June, I believe. And asked a number of different questions for uses at the parks, primarily what people would like to see in the different parks. Ceresco Park being a smaller neighborhood park, most common elements there: drinking fountains, site furnishings, playground, so a place to make it usable for the residents in that area where you want to take some time to go outside and play, and let the kids burn off some steam by making it usable. Within that, Horner Park, being kind of a micro or pocket park, a little bit different character. Looking at something like a gazebo, site furnishings, naturalized landscaping, so things that will bring that into being a usable space versus what it is now, being an abandoned bridge, which is in the current process of removal planning, and then shoreline work is underway with that. So looking at ways to allow better access to the water, fishing, things like that. Selfridge Park, a little bit more well used, a little bit more variety. So again, things like site furnishing, benches, tables, things to make the site usable for a variety of users. Drinking fountain, canoe kayak launch, waterfront trails, so being able to access and focus on the water and that amenity for the park. And again, playground, so being able to serve things like Boys and Girls Club, which will be nearby, and the neighbors in that area. Barlow Park is a community park, so higher level, more active uses, home to baseball field. Again, things very common, site furnishings, drinking fountain, natural play or playground improvements, so pieces that a majority of park users are going to want to see. From the stakeholder groups, we had some other comments come out and pieces that we'll talk about when we get to the concepts. And Murray Park wasn't originally in our scope, but was added in, and is more of a schematic design, just discussing some of the options that can be there and setting the priorities for improvements with the park. Again, common themes: playgrounds, drinking fountains, site furnishings, things that make the sites more usable on a daily basis for residents. So we listed out some of the top 5 amenities that were otherwise commented on. So Selfridge, things like kayak canoe launch, waterfront access, Barlow Park, improving site furnishings, trails, updating basketball courts, and then naturalized landscaping in some areas, which can be things that can help reduce the lawn maintenance that the city has to perform, not mowing as much, and allowing some of that to become just a little bit more green. Corner Park, the gazebo, and other pieces just to make that site usable, provide opportunities for photos or just kind of quiet respite, or opportunities to actually access the water for fishing. Ceresco, improve site furnishings, playground, outdoor fitness stations were a possibility, updating the basketball court. And then Murray Park, as we just mentioned, trails, landscaping, site furnishings, some of those things are already part of the senior center project and underway, and others will be kind of the discussion points for the concepts. So the draft master plans,
These are all the survey results are found. We can find them online, correct?
yeah, we'll have them. If you have questions on them, you can access them through the city if you want to see the full results. I don't remember how many numbers we had at the top of my head, but the draft master plans, as Adam mentioned, was a conglomeration of comments over several months, starting with the online survey. We had a stakeholder meeting with groups who would be potential partners with the city, so school district, Boys and Girls Club, baseball organizations, so groups that would have an interest in potential partnerships or use of the public facilities that could start to help move forward some of these improvements and take some of the financial burden directly off the city. And as some of our users of the parks currently, being able to partner with the city to kind of pay back some of that use. Park and Rec Committee in September, and they had numerous staff meetings to kind of get staff input and kind of build us along to get where we're at today. So Ceresco Park is very much as it is today, just improvements for ADA access, the playground areas, updating for basketball, adding bike racks and things to make access and use of the site functional. Porter Park, looking at the possibility of replacing the existing road bridges coming down, or something like a pedestrian bridge is a possibility. Could be phased in, and then walking trails and other access to the water, things like that for kind of more passive use. Selfridge Park, a little bit more expansive improvements, but looking at creating a better trail network, really providing updates that allow for improved lighting and access to improve the sense of security in the space, but also enhancing access to the water, improving parking. Things like the skate park could stay until it's time for those things to be retired, but that would be potentially relocated to Barlow, as we'll show in the concept there, as well as just improvements to the overall shoreline and plantings. Barlow Park, enhancing and improving the baseball fields, really creating a quasi-stadium, just improving the amenities there, improving concession stand, announcing station, looking at adding in a softball field to the south, and then adjusting and modifying access through the site. And there's discussion on partnership with the school district for potential outdoor kind of classroom and natural play area to the south. So looking at expanding play there, but also leave an opportunity to maintain the playground to the north, so that the local neighbors and surrounding community can still use that. Updating the basketball courts and adding an upgraded skate park are some of the highlights. And then things like the Ripon Pavilion, making sure that that's maintained and enhanced for future events, and then site lighting and other improvements. Murray Park is primarily recommendations for access and improvements to the existing amenities. There was some discussion on potential additions of a playground closer to the ball fields, so that parents who had kids playing baseball and maybe had younger kids would have easy access to kind of watch their kids out of the corner of their eye while they're watching other kids playing ball, as well as the potential addition of some type of water feature, geyser pad, near the senior center, and then fitness stations and other use kind of down by the tennis courts as they exist now. And then just improving overall trail access and ADA access with sidewalks and trails throughout the park. So, With that, we'll break up. We'll be standing by the stations. If there's questions, come over. We have some comment forms you can fill out, and there's dots that we can put on there to kind of track comments and things, but just here to listen, get feedback, and answer any questions that you may have. So, thank you very much.